for joining the show. Today's guest is one of the most talented directors and photographers in the gay porn industry. She is, I know, I gave it away. She is just one of the most amazing individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting over the last several months. So it gives me great pleasure to sit down and introduce you to Mr. Pam. Welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Pam. Woo!
Well,
I'm very
hi,
excited
girl.
to be here. Hi.
Welcome
How are you?
to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. What's going on?
I'm just doing my recovery time from going to the Pride weekend, which we both know how we survived that one. So
Yeah,
exactly.
It was nuts. Happy Pride, everybody.
Yay! Yay!
I don't know. We're both out in New York for World Pride, and then the Camp Cocky Boys.
You've got to do it all. If you're going to do it, do it up. Do it all. Do it.
Yeah.
Although you added in the parade. I have to give you kudos for that one. No. I came into town, but I hid. I went to lunch and sat down with two gorgeous men, and you went and walked till hell's over. Yeah.
Probably, I think we clocked it as about 10 miles, and I have a ligament that I might be torn or sprained, so I walked 10 miles in the World Pride Parade in New York with a sprained MCL disc. I don't know. Yeah, my knee's fucked up, but we did it, and now I'm home icing. But you only get World Pride once a year. So I was with my darling Raphael Alikar, who's awesome. So it was his crazy idea, and it was really beautiful to walk through and not only see people from all over the world, but also all his fans, like all the people who love gay porn. We must have been stopped like at least 100 times. I'm not even exaggerating. Just, oh my God, Raphael, oh my God. So
I saw some of the pictures. That was awesome. It was
so cool.
I kept going, girl, oh my God, that knee, oh my God, girl.
It was a lot of standing and stopping, so I'm like, all right, I can fake this, but every time we had to, okay, go, and we were about 4 floats behind where we started. So we started with the Caribbean, and we ended up with Prep.
If you don't take it easy, we're going to be decorating your goddamn wheelchair next year, okay? So
Mom!
I'll just blow a balloon and TP the hell out of your damn chair, and then you can ride in style.
Okay, I'm in.
I think that'd be actually a fabulous idea, but
yeah,
let's just get your knee healed instead, okay?
Okay, all right.
We'll just paint our wagon anyway for just grins and giggles. Let's not use it because we have to.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, bless you.
Yeah, I didn't quite make it to the tissue.
It's okay.
I'm classy.
You're among friends here, so it's like sitting down and having a drink with, 2 blondes. What else is going to happen?
I know, my big sis.
There's no formality here. So let's just jump right in. And I'm just going to ask you some really cool questions because there's just things I've always wanted to know about you. So everybody's just going to have to put up with my questions. So there it is. So tell me about Pam growing up. What was Pam like as a child? What did Pam? Where's Pam from? What's your background, sweetheart?
I grew up north of San Francisco on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge in Marin, and 2 wonderful parents, little sister, dog, everything. I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so that probably explains everything.
It actually does.
My mom always asked, how come you work in porn? We sent you to Catholic school. Hello? You just answered your own question. I was always really outgoing and student council and every single sport, volleyball, cheerleading, everything, student council, lots of that, senior class president. But I was also always in trouble. So I was always encouraging all the kids to go behind the school and I'd take books from the library and read the naughty parts at break and making out with all the boys and everything. So I was very responsible but also very naughty, which I guess is kind of still me to this day. But yeah, I had a great childhood. It was fun growing up there and, probably a little spoiled. But 12 years Catholic school, Marin Catholic High School, and then went off to Sacramento State for college, and I ended up studying graphic design. But when I was little, my dad was in the wine business, and he befriended this guy who owned a camera store in San Rafael. And so he would trade wine for camera equipment. So when I was about 10, I got my first SLR camera. And he had another friend who worked at Kodak, so we got all this free film. And when I was about 12, we got a video camera. So I've just always loved photography and videography. And I've been thinking about a lot lately about how thankful I am to my dad to just put a camera in my hand at 10, and I was staging photo shoots with my little sister. And yeah, it was pretty funny. So I still, to this day, when I have a camera in my hand, everything's okay.
It's
now there's just
security. That makes sense.
yeah. Now there's just naked guys in front of me.
Well, there are worse ways to spend your day, dear. Come on.
No, I used to work in the news, so I sat in this beige cubicle at CNET, which is CBS News now, and I was an interactive designer for them for 6 years, and yeah, and I eventually got an offer to go shoot behind the scenes of this gay porn, and I was like, okay, fuck it. I just quit my job and drove out to a cattle ranch outside of Sacramento, and then started my gay porn career. And that was about 4 years ago.
That is a huge leap. I mean, that is a phenomenal leap. I mean, I don't expect any less from you, because knowing your personality, I can see where it would not be something you would like take a whole lot of time having to, mull over.
Yeah.
You've always seemed that way, boom, quick make a decision, and it seems to be working for you, dear. So
thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about your first scene. How was the first day on set?
It was awesome. It was like camp, but I could stir up trouble, and I was getting paid for it. So I was like, I can't believe I'm actually getting paid to be here. And I was shooting behind the scenes, which was very taboo at the time. This was with Colt Studios, and Buckleroos was the movie. And so it was my job basically to go to all the boys and like interview them and stir up trouble and have them whip their dicks out, and they're jerking them in front of me. And yeah, it was 3 weeks. So it was a long shoot. But the very first scene was this lovemaking scene with Dean Phoenix, who's actually still doing porn now, and Marcus Iron, who just I love. He became family. So it was a lovemaking scene. It was the last scene in this movie, but we were in a barn, and it was at night, and I was going around shooting behind the scenes, and they ended up throwing me in to shoot second camera for the sex, and it was just such a great scene, and just the directors, John Rutherford and Jerry Douglas were there, and they just really were encouraging me, and the scene ended up winning Best Duo that year at the Gay Bien Awards, which I was so lucky to have my very first porn. I think it won Best Movie and Best Videography. That was more Tom, the guy who was shooting, than me. But yeah, and then the first scene was the Best Duo. So I was so lucky to have that be my first experience in gay porn, and also just kind of set the standard of, it's not two dudes in a hotel room with a handy cam. Like, you could really, elevate it to dialogue and like a full feature movie with sex. So it worked out good. It was very cool.
You were already redefining the whole porn thought process without even realizing you were doing it, huh?
Yeah, I just happened to be there, and just with all these people who were so passionate, and God, at the time we had like 14 people on crew. It was just enormous. A wardrobe person and a makeup person, and 2 cameramen, a whole lighting crew, grip crew. So it's not quite that many people anymore, but luckily I learned how to do all those things, so I do the job of 10 men now.
Well, they always said, and I'll just leave that like it is.
They say.
Yeah, I know. They say. So, you mentioned that your family does know. What was their reaction when you went home for Christmas or whenever and said, "Hey, guess what? Merry Christmas, I'm doing porn."
No. Well, actually, I stumbled upon an internship doing video editing in grad school, and that's how I originally got into it, and that's how I met people. So I was doing editing, and one of the guys' clients was Falcon Studios and Hot House, so I was new, so they gave me the porn to edit. So I had been doing it, working in the industry for about a year, and I was still young, and my parents were paying for school, so I didn't want to tell them what I was doing, so they never really knew about that time. And then And it's kind of a sad story, but my dad passed away. Just suddenly he got sick and then passed away. And then my little sister died in a car accident a year later. So there was like the four of us, and we were really tight. So, when you lose half your family in a year, it's just, what the fuck? Things that I probably would never have gone into porn so hardcore, if it wasn't for that, because my dad was very Catholic and he probably wouldn't have liked it. My sister would have been cool. She was cool with everything. But I think Mom and I just, I told her, I'm like, I want to quit my job and go do this porn shoot. I'm trying to go back to work and I'm just crying in my cubicle. It's horrible. And she's like, okay, whatever makes you happy, and just stay behind the camera and keep your clothes on. I'm like, okay, Mom. So she was cool. I mean, even to this day, and it's just so weird because I've been doing this, for 15 years, and I've been very awarded and honored, for what I do, and she still doesn't really tell all her friends. I'm bisexual too, so she always debates, like, should I tell them that you're a pornographer or that you're bisexual? Like, I don't know. I'll just, so she's, but the extended family, my cousin and aunt and uncle and all them, they all know and they love it. And every time I go up north to Lakeport, Clear Lake area, they know to be like a bingo for the swim team, and they have to tell everybody, this is my cousin and she's a porn director. So even though my mom's not totally she's proud of me, but she's very proper. But my cousin Jenny is just, diarrhea.
That's funny. That's great.
So,
but you have to do what's resonating with you, and unfortunately, and I'm sorry you lost those two very important people to you. But it's amazing how it gives clarity on how we sometimes just settle for things because we don't think about stepping out of that box. We're taught to look for security. We're taught to get a job and take care of the important things. But sometimes I think we lose our dreams in that process, or we don't actively go out and seek them until we get that in-your-face moment. So totally understand that. And I have a funny feeling that he would be very proud of you. I have a feeling that he knows, and he's probably cheering from wherever he is because, you are making one hell of a statement in everything that you do. And we talked about this, about how I admire the fact that you have taken on a role that many people would brazenly step into, and never even think that they could. It's more that the idea of stepping in and saying, I really can do this, not that they want, because it's like any other industry, if it's a predominantly run role situation, it's hard to break that mold and say, okay, I don't like this glass ceiling, I think it needs to go up higher and go away. So exactly, break it, baby. Take one of those damn awards and just shatter the shit out of it.
It would make a better background.
I know. Oh, there you go. I like this. Yeah, show off those tiny little.
That's so crazy. It's really insane that I've won all these awards for being a chick.
It's not. It's not, because you've deserved every one of them. I mean, we can joke and play around about it, but there is nothing on that wall that you did not deserve, that you did not work hard for, and that you did not put the effort in. I mean, I've watched you. I mean, you take pride in what you create. You take pride in making something that is art.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally art. And I don't ever want to hear you say on this whole earning thing, because you did. Every one of those is 100% deserved. So.
Thank you. I know, it's pretty fun. My mom actually, when I moved, she helped unpack and she put all the awards up, and I think that was pretty awesome for her to be like, well, what's this one? What's this one?
Well, it's validation, sweetheart, that you have done some incredible things with this talent that you have that you probably didn't even think twice of, but you it's such an ingrained part of you that I don't think you could actively make yourself fail at this point, because you're just you set the bar too high that I doubt very much you would step out of that and do anything to jeopardize that, because that's just not your nature.
It's so true. I know, even like, this is such a small scene. I need to do more. We recently started shooting just scenes, like just a scene, but let me do a little like documentary about the guys and like a porn star cribs, and and everybody at the office is like, you're just shooting a scene. That's all.
But I want to do this, and I want to play with that, and I see you doing anything you set your mind to it. And so just keep fighting the fight, girl. And I'm right there with you. I will kick your butt all the way there if you need me to. So.
Okay, cool.
All right. Now, I do want you, though, to move your beautiful face just a little bit more in front of your awards. As much as I love looking at them, I want to see your pretty face. Thank you.
Where?
That's good. Yeah, get really close.
Okay. Go closer? Okay.
No, actually, just a little more to your left. Your left. There you go. Yeah,
okay.
You're good.
Got it.
I just,
good?
like I said,
look, she's directing
see
me.
your pretty face. So tell me about your scenes and how you come up with your concepts. What is it that draws you to doing certain kinds of scenes over others? You're very diversified. Don't get me wrong. You're very diversified. But I know that you tend to pick out. Do you pick your actors first and build the scene around them, or do you find yourself behind the scene and then looking for the actor, or how do you process where you're going to go with putting that all together?
It's kind of a little bit of both. We just had a big 2-part movie series come out called Five Brothers. And so that was actually the love child of my executive producer, my boss, Tim Valenti, from Naked Sword and Falcon. And so he was very inspired by Animal Kingdom. And so I looked it up. It's a TV series. And I was like, oh, this is hot. It's kind of trashy in Miami. And, I like things that are edgy. Like, that's more my thing. Just like, car chases and fight scenes and stuff like that. So that was a good combination of what I like to do and what he likes to do too. It's great. It just came out. Check out Five Brothers from Naked Sword. And after that, next we have Psycho Joe, and that was Falcon was going to go to London to shoot, and so Tony DeMarco, the director there, wanted my help shooting it, and I was like, okay, well, let me shoot my movie there too. So instead I went up to Manchester, and I'm really inspired by my porn son, Mickey Taylor. So I hadn't shot him in a couple of years, so I reconnected with him, and so that movie was more about taking, one of my muses, Mickey, and we collaborated, and he actually wrote a script. And so he's the star in it. He's Psycho Joe, and so that one was fun too because it's more surrounded around about the boys. One of my favorite ever was MXXX that we did about 2 years ago now with Tom Falk, and that one was inspired by, we were on set of Scared Stiff, and Tom rolls up with this beat up laptop, and it's just like such a crazy Texas boy, and he's showing all these motocross videos and him doing wheelies with cops chasing him and stuff, and I'd always wanted to do a motocross movie because there's a lot of motocross up at my mom's, and so I started picking his brain. I'm like, can we do this? Like, I'll take a crew to Texas, and if you want to do this. So him and I collaborated on a script, and we ended up shooting at his Uncle Ken's house, and that one it's really about his life, about like the Peter Pan theory of not wanting to grow up, and we arrived at the location, and me and Leo Forte and Anthony John, my two wonderful assistants, friends, everything, but we just saw what was going on, and we're like, okay, if we could capture what's really happening here in Tom's life into a porno, like, it'll be golden. And actually one of the awards back there is from the movie. So kind of all inspiration. When I was in New York, I did a little bit more autobiographical, so I'd be like, I directed a lot more movies in New York with Lucas Entertainment. So, every month coming up with some concept. So some of them were about like being a sex addict. Am I a sex addict? I don't know. I went to a couple support groups and I was like, oh, this is kind of hot. Sorry.
That's okay. You can just share anything you want, girl. Like I said, this is free zone. This is free zone.
So. Yeah, my boss Tim likes really campy stuff. So he likes funny, campy, like Paris Perfect. He likes romps. So we'll do a few of those. But I love that working with Naked Sword, and I'm not restricted to a certain look. Or we collaborated with Bellamy before, and they're beautiful, but they have their look. They can't really all of a sudden go into a horror movie with Bellamy. So I love the diversity because I get bored easily. So it's really nice to just jump around and everything from scary and people dying to like really silly and romp type stuff.
Yes, you've done a few romps. Actually, you did one last year, and actually you starred in it. Do you remember which one I'm talking about? Wesley and...
Oh, Tammy!
Yes!
I can't forget about that.
I don't know how you can forget about that.
Oh, that was fun. That was Zach and Jack make a porno.
That was one of the best. I laughed so hard. Now, granted, the sex was over the top. Awesome.
Yes.
I mean, look at the two you had cast in there. Chemistry.
Oh,
I mean, please.
Yeah.
But the comedy, oh my Lord, and that's one of my favorite things about a film is if it draws me in, and while I know that it's a porn, it also is telling a story and it's engaging, and it was, plus somebody got me front of the screen and she kept her clothes on, so you did manage to keep the roles with Mama. So that's
See, Mom, I kept my clothes on, and I had a pig. I'm basically wearing my mom's hair, only a brown version.
That works. That works.
That was such a great movie. Yeah, that was written by Tony DeMarco, and we co-directed it. And there's just so much shit that happens on a porn set, and everybody hooking up off the set. And so we just sat and brainstormed like of every single scenario that has like really happened in real life. And he wrote the script. It's so funny. And Wesley Woods and Woody Fox were just so invested in the project. Like having the leads be so like 200% invested in what we're doing, it was awesome because their energy was contagious, and everybody who showed up was like, oh, all right, we're really doing this.
We're really gonna do it.
Every single character. That was so funny. It was great.
I have to say that was probably my favorite comedy so far. You guys are so great.
Thank
so
you.
Great. You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
I know Tammy needs to come back. She was kind of funny.
Tammy definitely needs a new film. I don't know how. Yeah, so I'm sure you will come up with something, or maybe I'll think about it and we'll collab on that. I'll come up with a Tammy script. That would be funny.
Wesley had written a sequel, so Woody moved back to Australia, but he says he's going to come back. So he's training for Cirque du Soleil here in Vegas, and he technically has a job if he gets a new flyer girl or whatever. So, Woody, come back.
We got to do a sequel. We need to do the sequel. That would be so fun. That would be so fun. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Mm-hmm. So, what's your favorite part of your career? What is that thing that gets you up every day and makes you just so excited about what's happening next?
Let me think. God, every day is just an adventure, and what gets me up? Well, the dog, technically. Logistically, the chihuahua in my face licking me that he has to pee. But
four-legged child.
Symbolically, yeah. I think right now we're planning for a sequel to Scared Stiff. So I'm working with Shishi LaRue, and we're gonna shoot that in a couple weeks. And all of a sudden, like yesterday, at first, we gotta get the location. I was starting to stress, and I just had this moment of like, this is fun. Like, what I do is really fun. Like, we get to get this group together, and, Tim's backing it, and we're trying to find a house, and it's just really cool. I don't know. It's a good time. And days like Sunday, when we're walking through World Pride, and just all these, like, faces of, like, I love what you do. And I forget, we just shoot guys fucking, and I just forget that how it impacts so many people. And so days like that really makes it worthwhile too. Yeah. And I love the photography too. That's like my roots from when I was 10. So, during the day,
the countries you get to travel to. How many
Yeah.
different countries have you actually filmed in? You've
That's
been to.
just a reminder that's been popping up on my phone. It's so funny that you asked that, because I'm like, I should really count. Like, it could be about 12 or 15.
You have to have over 15 countries that you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Serbia,
Mhm.
Russia,
Mhm.
Ireland,
Mhm.
England, Spain, Argentina,
Mhm.
Germany.
Yes.
What else is over there?
France.
France, yes. Yeah.
Didn't you guys do something near the Ukraine, or was that the Russian?
I was in Serbia and Russia.
Okay.
Russia was great. We got arrested in Dominican Republic.
Not the Caribbean. You haven't done the Caribbean yet, though. So right.
Well, Dominican, and then we went to Puerto Rico, but that was more of a vacation. There's a big one that I'm forgetting. That's a few to start.
Italy.
Ibiza, in Spain.
Italy, what
I've never been to Italy.
You haven't done Italy yet?
No, isn't that weird?
Okay, Italy needs to be on this year then. You'll have to
Yeah.
get some way of doing something on the Mediterranean or Greece.
Yeah.
That would be
Italy
great too.
and Brazil. Yeah, Greece. I almost went to Greece.
South America.
Yeah, it's
South America. You said?
Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a transporn. Yeah. Was there any place else? Maybe it wasn't 15.
So you have a few stamps on that suitcase.
I know. My passport's expiring in a couple months. Oh, Israel.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, my passport's expiring, and I'm sad. I'm like, oh, it's gonna wash away all that history. I like shooting in other countries. Being originally from San Francisco, because I shot there forever, and it's so gay friendly, and nobody gets to talk. So I would shoot porn in my window in the Castro, because everyone's like, "No, hi, Mr. Pam, she's shooting." But we did get arrested when I was working with Colin O'Neill in Dominican Republic, and it was very eye-opening. So thank God I had that experience. Like, we bribed our way out, and I grabbed a low-cut cocktail dress, and I wadded cash and some condoms. I'm like, all right. I'll fuck my way out of here if we have to. But we were only detained for a couple hours. But after that, I'm like, all right, I need to watch what I'm doing when I go to other countries. So especially Russia, I was just so careful about. We were shooting with tapes at the time, so each tape would label, grandmother's birthday and Pavel's wedding.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that would not be a country I'd want to get arrested in. They're just not very smiley there.
We'd never see you again.
I know. Dominican be fine. The land of giant cock. And those guys are hot. But yeah. But you know what saved me? Going through Russian customs, because nobody spoke English, and I'm going through with Michael Lucas, and I'm really nervous. And then they're like whispering to each other. I'm like, oh my god! And finally, Michael's like, "Do you have like a hairdryer in your bag?" I'm like, no. And they opened up my bag, and it was my vibrator. And I was like, oh! And I acted embarrassed. I could give a fuck. But they were like, okay, go ahead. So
yeah, they were going to talk about female stuff. They don't get into that female stuff at all. So.
No.
Next time, pack that inside of a box of tampons. They'll never look.
No, yeah, that's true.
Just saying. They're squeamish about all that stuff, so.
I know. My Hitachi saved my life.
Damn, we love our Hitachis. Yes.
I know, thank God.
Plug and go. So, who would you consider your biggest influence, both as a photographer and as a director-producer? I mean, growing up, you obviously had some. I mean, you must have read up on photographers and looked into all that stuff. But where did your influences come from?
I mean, probably when I was really little, Madonna. I just loved her, and when I got that first camera, I would I was 10 and my little sister was 2, and I would dress her up like Madonna and put these backdrops and stuff and take photos of her. Like, they were full-on sets, and it's so weird that I just had that thought to do that when I was 10. They're bordering on, like, a little iffy. When I look at them now, I'm all, that would be considered child porn. But, I mean, she's, like, sitting in a bathing suit drinking wine, but she's 2 with this
Well,
makeup.
you know, those are good
I
memories.
was 10. Yeah. So her, and then, I mean, Annie Leibovitz I always thought was awesome. Then when I started, one of the photographers in New York, Joe Pedisano, he came and worked with us a couple times, and I loved his photography. He was just very low. I tend to shoot really low, and he did that too, and just, moody. So he was awesome. But who else? Film-wise, I really don't know filmmakers and stuff. I studied industrial arts in college. I have my master's in film production, but it was more the technical side than the theory. So anytime anybody brings up, oh, do you know? I'm like, I don't know. I like the movie Mean Girls. And
That seems to be a trend I've been hearing. It's that whole Mean Girls. Have you seen the play?
no, I saw that it was playing in New York, though. I was like, ah, shit, that looks good.
Oh, I ran into this cute gentleman on the plane coming back, and of course he was gay, so it wasn't like I was hitting on him. But he'd gone to see it, and he said it wasn't that good. So don't waste your money. But
he doesn't like it. I have to say, recently, Jake Jackson just blows me away, and if he wins, it's usually him and I sometimes. Okay, who's gonna win? But
it's healthy competition. It's a healthy.
Oh no, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, he invited me to his pool party, and that was awesome. And they make really beautiful films at Cocky Boys, so it's always like elevating it. Helix lately too has been making amazing films, and Mark McNamara from Men.com. We used to work together at Lucas, and he's busting out his Pirates movie. Just was awesome. I watched that trailer. I'm like, oh, bitch, we're doing that? Okay. All right.
Didn't somebody do a spoof on Star Wars too? I swear.
I think Men.com did, yeah.
Okay.
Alterson over at Spain. He's amazing. Shishi was my mentor from when I was younger, when I was doing the video editing with my internship. She came one day to rent out the studio in Berkeley, and that's how we met. And that was probably 20 years ago. So, and I honestly think at the very beginning I wouldn't have been, even welcome in the industry if it wasn't for her, because we kind of looked alike. When she's in drag, she's big, over the top drag queen, and I try to dress up in drag when I go to events, so I would get mistaken for her a lot.
Well, she's definitely big sister, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So, it's a healthy rivalry with all of us. And, Tony DeMarco, who I work with now, is just amazing filmmaker. And Steve Cruz is really fun with his concepts. And, he's very fun on the set and kind of cunty, and he makes me laugh. So I do photography for Raging Stallion now. And it's fun helping them out, too. Because it's so easy to sit back and like, well, you could do this, you could do this. So I almost feel like we're all mentoring each other.
That's the support in the industry. It's inspiring. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a healthy. You guys do a healthy blend of competition. Yet you're supportive, and yet you're you do. It's family. You make fun of each other, but it's like don't mess with you. Nobody messes with you. You can mess with each other, but don't mess with
Totally. Yeah. When shit comes down, we all, bond together. And, if the government or whoever, they were trying to implement the mandatory condom law a couple of years ago in California. And, we all rallied together. We're like, oh, okay. I was jealous of you last week, but here we are in court speaking to Cal OSHA
exactly,
together.
right. That's how it should be. That should happen. It's healthy. It's good.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think the biggest misconception is that people have of the porn industry. After all of your years in this industry, what do you think people's misconceptions are?
When I was getting my tattoo redone a few months ago, I was in this tattoo shop, and it's all straight dudes, and so we were talking about doing porn, and I was like, oh, I love your tattoo shop. Could we shoot here sometime? He's like, oh, no, it'd be like dog shit in a lawnmower. And it made me laugh, but that's his thought of what a gay porn shoot in his tattoo shop would look like. But it's just shit flying everywhere. And dirty, and I mean, he was straight up honest, and so I think that, with this misconception that, the shoots are like everybody's on drugs and everybody's wasted and it's just a free for all, and especially when we rent locations, and I lie a lot about renting the location, and it sucks that I have to lie. I don't want to lie, because I mean, let's say you have a bachelorette party at your house, those girls are getting wasted, there's no supervision, but if we're renting it, like, nobody is drinking, nobody's doing drugs, like, it's very strict, and we're cleaning up, we have a whole team to make sure things clean up, nobody's dirty, there isn't cum all over the place, we try to get it in the mouth, so it's just very strict and regimented, and so it's frustrating that people think that we're all a bunch of, I mean, we're fun. We like to party when it's appropriate, but it's not on the porn set. Yeah, I heard this other company had a bank account with Bank of America for 12 years, and they just recently shut it down. They're like, we don't like what you do, so we're shutting down your bank account. And it just blows my mind that it's a private industry, they could do that, but that they just don't like porn, so they could shut down this account, where you have all the paychecks and everything linked to, and, taxes, and
makes you question why they're even looking into your personal information.
So
anyway, that's to me, seems illegal.
Yeah, it does. It's, and my Facebook account is shut down all the time. I use the word faggot one day, and they're like, it's hate speech against the protected community. I'm like, I couldn't be more pro-gay. Like, filming guys fucking each other in the ass.
Show you
like, I'm quoting Bianca Del Rio. Like, so the word faggot, like, all of a sudden the Autobots, deem me as hate speech, and my Facebook account was shut down for 30 days, and it affects my income, because I did a lot of nightlife photography and events in San Francisco, so people would contact me through Facebook, so I get these messages, and I can't respond, because I'm blocked. So it's frustrating, but
you would think that would fly all the way up to the top of the Facebook pyramid.
I don't know. Trying to make it more for the children.
Right. So tell me about being a woman in the gay porn industry.
I'm a woman.
Yes, honey, they're there. There's pictures on Twitter to prove it. You were checking them really good in the pool. I don't know if you saw the mermaid photos.
Those are cute. I forget sometimes, because I'm just, not to use the word faggot again, but I always call myself just a dirty faggot, and I'm with the gay boys all the time, and it's just become my norm, and I forget that I'm a girl. I mean, I've always been athletic, so I'm a little butch, I hang with the boys, and I'm always, like, let me carry that and stuff. But I do know that, sometimes, often, we'll shoot at a men's only location, and I totally, like, honor and respect places that are just for a certain group, like a Jewish community center,
Right.
Like, if there were no Jewish people there, it wouldn't really be the center, although it's changing a lot. And when I was in my 20s, I dated more girls, so I'd go to this Club Q, and it was all girls, and it really bothered me when guys would show up, because that was my night to be with all the dykes. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I am so supportive and, outspoken about, gay rights and my gay boys and keeping their sexuality free and open. So I have been allowed into many, many, many places that women wouldn't even know exist. So sex clubs all over the world. And, it's just about being respectful. I'm not going to be in the middle, here's my tits, and, kind of like stay off to the side. And my favorite thing to do in men's sex clubs is to, the guys that are awkward and this is their first time there, they kind of flock to me. So I give them a little pep talk and shove them back in. Like, come on, go out, take your shirt off. Yeah, I totally do. That is really fun. I think that's my favorite thing about going to these men-only places, is the guys that feel awkward, is to just get them back out. But yeah, I I think the main thing, I mean, this is so controversial, and my best friend is always like, shut up. But it's just, with all the Me Too movement and women and advancing in the workplace, and just my advice is that I could never play the girl card. Like, I don't really belong where I'm at. So me saying, well, you're not letting me direct that because I'm a woman, or I don't have an office because I'm a woman. And it makes me go past that to, like, what are my characteristics that's stopping me from doing whatever that I want. I didn't get a raise. Well, I didn't ask for it. Okay, I didn't direct that movie. Well, I have to speak up more. Okay, well, I didn't get this. Am I being too quiet? Am I being introverted? Am I being too loud? Am I too silly? I'm not thought about as a leader. So it's really been eye-opening to me to look past the fact that I'm a girl, because I can't play that card. So that's what I always encourage other female people to do, and even guys who aren't going, dancing is how they should. Like, what are the characteristics in yourself that you could improve on, that you could get what you want? So
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I know we touched on that a little bit the other day, because I really wanted you to share that with the world. Because honestly, it's so true. I think as much as we want to have equality and all the things that come along with it, I think sometimes we do forget and we lean back into that girl card. Instead of looking at, okay, like you said, there might be other extenuating circumstances that might have had more to do with why we didn't, or what wasn't given, we need to own it. We need to own all of it. There are going to be situations where it is about being female, and those are still prevalent. I'm not disputing that at all, but it isn't all the time. And it's so easy sometimes to fall onto that and not turn around and look at our own personal inner space and say, okay, what are we doing or not doing that we should be doing to get out of that belief pattern?
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Awesome.
Limiting beliefs.
Exactly. And we do. I think we unconsciously do it sometimes. I don't think there's anybody that consciously says, oh, I'm going to limit myself today. But I think sometimes we forget and we don't step out of it and look back and say, okay, what is everybody else seeing that I'm not?
Yeah.
And being self-aware. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's very huge.
I kind of lost a gig years ago at Studio 2000. They're not even around anymore, but they just suddenly stopped hiring me, and I was wondering, is it because I'm a girl? And I had gained a lot of weight. And I know that's not PC to say, but there was this other videographer who could literally run circles around me, and I was a little slower than him. I couldn't get the shots that he could, and I was like, okay, well, that's the problem there, and it sucked. I'm like, you're being sizist, but he was stronger and faster, so I'm like, okay, well, let me address this then. So yeah, it's tough though. There's so many things that go into getting hired, and why you're hired or not, and but again, like, being of size, I like it too, because you can hang with the boys. I'm not really tight. I'm like, butt check. I'm like a huge ass. Bam, I do that too. And I'm shooting nightclubs. I'll just full on butt check somebody if they get in my way.
Don't get in my way. I'll send you across the room.
I do that with my second conference too. I know. Leo, watch out. My bestie, Leo Forte, we shoot together all the time, so he gets it. I don't really hit him anymore. But the crotch light guy, I'll get him. Bam, get out of my way.
It's good when you can get to the point where it just takes the look. I don't have to do just the look.
Yeah.
You know what's coming. So what does Pam do to relax? What does Pam do when she's off, which probably doesn't happen very often, but I assume that you do. Do you do some down stuff? So what do you do to?
I love nature. Actually, I just love hiking or just going outside. And I have a balcony here in Vegas. I just moved here 5 months ago, and I just love sitting on the balcony and looking out at the sunset. Like every night, I try to just watch the sunset and just be thankful for, whatever. Try to think of at least 3 things I'm thankful for. And, just sit out there with the dog or with tea in the morning. And I smoke hella weed at night, not when I'm working, but that helps calm me. I got it's legal now. Just go visit my mom and, that's around with photos. What else do I do to relax? I'm trying to work on a book. I don't know if that's relaxing, but that's in the works too. Just writing, and it is funny though. After a long day of shooting, I'll come home and turn on the TV, and sometimes it'll be a mainstream movie, but there'll be a sex scene. I'm like, no, no, turn it off, turn it off.
What's a good horror flick when I need one?
That's I can't stand. If I'm not in the mood, I'm like, that is the background sound of my life. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I know, because like you don't hear that all day, so.
All day, yeah. The soundtrack of my life. Fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
It's bad when you are actually counting how many times they say it, too.
I
have caught myself doing that on several occasions. It's rather funny. But it's it's good. It's all in fun. It's all in fun because you guys are really great. It's totally fun. So tell me, what makes you smile?
You and your fun questions.
And what else? What makes you smile?
I guess people. I don't know. I'm a very smiley person. I get teased a lot, even if I'm like freaking out or whatever. I'm still smiling. I'm so upset. Why are you smiling? I don't know. I don't know. Just life is pretty fun. And even though I had tragedy happen about 12 years ago, it's just after you go through something like that, it's like this is no big deal. Like I don't know. I think just. Good question. The little things, the sunsets, the dog with his teeth sticking out.
Oh, that's enough right there. That works.
I know.
I'm gonna let you off the hook on that one. So, sort of. So, what upsets you? What really upsets you? What just makes your head shake and just?
Not getting what I want. I'm a big brat, so I like my way. And it sucks when you're on set, especially God. If I'm on set for like a week directing, and it's you are controlling every single thing in the room. The Carmex has to be here. This is there. This is here. And then just leaving that and things out of my control. Oh God, people who turn on those overhead lights on the airplane drives me crazy.
Right.
I know why it bothers me.
You can't control it.
I know. One time I actually had these gels and the light above me wouldn't go off, so I actually had gels from the set. We're asking what pisses me off, what makes me sad.
Right.
I'm getting my way. I'm a big brat.
I was expecting an altruistic answer from you, and you go totally with, I just don't like.
I want to get my way all the time. I'm a director.
You're supposed to tell me, do what I tell you.
I know. It sucks when you're on set all week and you're controlling every single thing, and this is here, and then you leave set, and it's not that way in life. It's like, what is this? Why are you not doing what I say?
I don't know. People don't they get the memo? Life would be so much easier if you just did what I said.
I know, and I'm getting older too, and it's getting worse, so I may have my diva moment, like, secretly recorded one of these days.
Oh my God. I have done that before, and people are looking at me like, who are you?
No.
But I always warn them first. I always warn them. I said, in certain circumstances, I will go full on diva, conniption fit. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
People are still surprised. They're still surprised when I say I'm going to do it, and I do. So.
I hate flakes too, when people flake. I don't like when people don't show up. I value people's time, and I will show up to a fault. If I promised my friend I'd go to their whatever, like, I will be like limping and dragging and go anyway, and freak out about it. But there's got to be a happy balance there. But
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, to make guys come quicker. Woo!
Now, I don't know anybody, I don't know any of them that would say that that wasn't a great superpower to have.
No, actually, to keep them hard. The coming I could deal with. We could fake that, but you can't really fake a hard dick. Oh my god, wouldn't that be awesome if I'm like, hard?
Now, you remember, though, that's part of the reason why a lot of your female fans don't watch straight porn is because women can fake it.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and I do. It's so awful. That's why I like watching kink stuff, because like it's a lot of females produce it, and there's girl directors, and like they really care about the girls coming, which is just odd that they're doing a scene and they wouldn't want to come. It's so strange to me. I don't know. There's a lot of pressure though, but other than that superpower. I guess just to morph to any place, just like the little I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay.
Like,
you can dress up as Jeannie easy anyway, so.
I know! The hair.
Costume idea?
I Dream of Jeannie. I know, I just realized after this morning that usually after Pride I go drive up to my mom's and chill out and go kayaking with her for a couple days, and now that I'm in Vegas it's a lot more difficult. So this morning I was missing Mom and kayaking, and so that would be awesome just to be able to just blink my eyes and all of a sudden I'm at my mom's house.
Yeah, it would.
She's giving me hugs and we could go kayaking.
Would also be nice to do that and not have to have a 5.5, 6 hour flight to get home from a very fun weekend, and then if I get super sad about I had to leave everybody, which that little letdown after everything's over, that you can just beam yourself back, for a little 5-minute fix.
We call that PPD.
Yeah.
So we have post-production depression, and if we go on a big shoot and every time guaranteed I come home and I just crash and I'm just crying and like I'm not doing anything with my life, and my good friends Dara and Elio, they're like, remember it's PPD. Okay, that's right. I'm just tired, and just going from like people around, as you know, last weekend was nuts, and
it's not like we're completely apart. We have that Twitter connection and all the other things, so at least it's easier to talk to people now than it used to be. I mean, you have to wait till a letter got there. I mean, for God's sake.
That's so weird.
Right? And at least now we have FaceTime and we can actually see each other. And So, you talked to me about writing an autobiography. So, have you come up with a name yet? And if you have, what would it be? I mean, if you could call your book anything, what would it be called?
The last 48 hours, the word fearless keeps coming up. Like, I just think after the weekend and thinking about all the things that I did and actually seeing what I've done, like through your eyes and through the other women's eyes at the Camp Cocky Boys, and just I've never, because I saw myself in a lot of you. We're all kind of the same age and everything, and then just to think about all the experiences I've had in the last 15 years and the travel and just craziness, I'm like, I'm kind of fearless. Like, just fucking do it. So that word has been resonating the last 24 hours, and it just keeps coming up when I'm reading things. So, before I was like a Diary of a Gay Pornographer or some other things, but just that fearless, because I feel before I was just thinking just the gay guys would read the book, but I think that I do have a large women audience, plus women read. So
I can pretty much 100% bet that at least a very large portion of your audience will be women.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, to just inspire. I mean, I love inspiring people anyway, and regardless of what's happening. So
you're fabulous and furious, so I mean, it totally fits.
But I just gotta get on it. I just have so many stories and so overwhelming. So if anyone out there is interested in ghostwriting, let me know. Or just managing my crazy ass. shiny, shiny thing. I'm just a visual person, you know. It's so funny how I could put together a big porn shoot in the UK with all these people, and I don't even think twice about it. But to actually write my autobiography, it's just I get in my head, it gets overwhelming. But I have lots and lots and lots of free flow writing, and just gotta corral it down to something that makes sense.
Or just talking to a tape.
Yes.
You can do that too.
I have like 100 voice memos on here. Anytime something happens, I'm like, oh, okay, let me.
I gotta write this. I gotta tell this out before I forget part of it. Yeah. I get it.
I've re-listened to some of them. They're pretty funny.
So, what would you like to be remembered for?
Oh, I guess just. I mean, of course, everybody jerking off to my movies. I love that. And I think just the biggest thing was taking just the tragedy of my dad and my sister dying and just not have it consume me and throw me down the rabbit hole, and just take trauma and just elevate yourself, and like I got to do all this for them. Their lives are cut short, and I'm still on this earth, so let's just live life to its fullest. And then also just the amount of gay history we've recorded. Things happen, and in the movies, I feel like gay porn is a lot different than straight porn is, and it really is our history. Some of the movies I've done, we were back in New York, and the cops were targeting gay guys for going into bookstores, and so we did a movie about it. And The Cover-Up with Naked Sword was about them banning nudity in San Francisco, and so did a movie about it. And so it's a lot of history that goes into this, and these, the porn stars are idols, and just admire how much they put themselves out there, and be so vulnerable, not only to be in front of the camera, but be naked and dick in your ass. So I guess all those things. That's a big question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been known for that.
I know. No, that's a good one.
So I have to ask you from your point of view, and because I asked this of the guys. What advice would you give to someone who's considering a career either in front of the camera or behind the camera? What would you tell them as advice?
I think if you want to get into porn, you got to be realistic. It's very, very competitive. So it's like going into fashion modeling or pro sports. Your time frame is really only 2 years. Usually, you start getting in, you get noticed, you're getting flown around, you're doing appearances, and then the phone stops ringing. So you just need to be prepared for that. And I think every time you get booked, just be thankful. Don't be all, he got that, or he's here, or whatever. Just, you're on set at that moment, so just be thankful for that. And, don't have it be your only source of income, because it's fun, it's a hobby, it's a side thing. And, and then when it starts slowing down, it's okay. You did it, and it was awesome, and it's time to move on. So just always be thinking about the future and what you're going to do, because it's very, 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 very rare. Like, 5% chance you could be like a Ryan Rose, a Raphael Alligar, Adam Killian, any of those that have just been around for years and years and years. It's takes a special somebody, but mostly it's in and out, and just have fun. You're fucking and getting paid. It's pretty awesome. And I think if you want to get behind the camera, it's awesome, and it could definitely last longer than 2 years. You got to pay your dues. You'll be there wiping, ass juice, and that's where you got to start. And just be respectful for everybody there. I know people come in and they have their ideas, but there's also those of us who've been around a long time. Well, that won't work because of 10,000 reasons, but it's fun. So, grab a camcorder, and now with all the fan sites, and there's so many more opportunities and for people to shoot sex or things about sex, and stuff like, Puff Amp and his YouTube channel, What's the Safe Word? So he started in porn, and now he's got such a huge following for doing sex advice and a BDSM type of atmosphere, and I love that he's doing that. So there's definitely room for outreach too, and be political.
So tell me, what is the most exciting or most memorable memory you have in your years so far? What stands out as that moment, or the one that's, or have you even had it yet?
I mean, definitely that first scene was, that first day on set was so awesome. Being running around this cattle ranch and, realizing that I'm getting paid for something that's just so cool. So that day, definitely, that was really great. And, I think shooting porn in Israel, too, that was really moving for me. And to be in another country and just see, how much it's just so political and controversial there, and there's just so much hate and love, and we're doing B-roll in Jerusalem, and they'd have the the prayer and the Muslim prayer and the speakers going and the sun setting. It was just really awesome, and meeting the boys there and them telling me about growing up in Israel and the wars and having a bomb shelter in the house that we rented just in case anything happened. It was definitely different than San Francisco. So there's always a little place in my heart for Israel. And just all the crazy shit. I mean, just this last time we were shooting in London, one of the bottoms had an accident, and he just kept shitting everywhere. I'm just literally wiping shit out of these white sheets and just laughing. Like, people think this is so glamorous.
Not always.
This is so glamorous. I'm in fucking London. Learn how to douche.
Paper towel. There, my friend.
Photographer's friend.
Photographer's friend. Let me wipe that up a little.
Oh my god, I could answer that question for 4 days.
I was kind of going for the more highlight, fun, good moments, but I love that you've, added your little twist to that. Thank you.
The fun moments. Oh, yeah, when we were shooting with Bellamy. Oh, Prague. I shot there. We were shooting with Bellamy in Prague, and it was my crazy idea to bring this bed out on the lawn in front of the castle. So we had this big orgy. There were like 4 Czech boys and Connor McGuire. So we're shooting this whole thing, and all of a sudden this little dog comes out of the castle, and he's trying to jump on the bed and hump everybody. But he didn't speak English. He only spoke Czech because he's a Czech dog. So he's like, oh my god, why is the dog on the bed? Like, fucking orgy. Oh, that was really funny. It was like, just made this.
Oh my god. That is so funny. Oh
yeah, that was cute. Those Bellamy boys are awesome. That was cool.
So, what do you like most about yourself?
I'm just super creative. I've always been really, really creative and like a quick problem solver. I think when shit goes down, I don't even think about it. I just fly into it.
I could take that the total way.
I don't even think about it. I'm just, yeah. I'm
paper towels.
I know. I was on a plane a couple months ago, and this woman was walking down the aisle, and all of a sudden she passed out. And within seconds, I was up. I had her head cradled. I'm like calling the flight attendants. And I don't even remember standing up. I just get up and I try to solve the problem. So yeah, I think that's probably my superpower.
That inner director in you. I got it.
Yeah. My mom said that when I was little, she had a teacher conference, and the teacher told her, like, well, Pamela's a born leader. I just wish that she would lead the kids in a different direction. That was always, that's going to get into trouble.
At least she was trying to be proactive and not just call you a troublemaker. I mean, I give her points there. You weren't constantly in the corner, were you?
No, oh my God, I was like out in front, very loud.
No, I meant as far as being put in the corner for time out.
Trouble. No, I was grounded a lot. Yeah. It's crazy.
No wonder you got so damn creative. You had to sit in your head.
I was by myself a lot. In my room. No TV, no phone, no going out.
I at least had my records. When I was grounded, so I could sing. Do my that's what I did. I did the singing and stuff, and you did all story writing in your head. So that explains a lot. So
drawing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you like to tell your fans? What would you like to say to your fans?
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching the crazy movies that we make and jerking off or not jerking off. And yeah, just without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So it's awesome. Keep it up. And let me know if you want to see anything or have any ideas or pairs together. Or, we're always open to ideas. I love when people suggest stuff. So totally open to it. If you have a fantasy, I can make it come true.
Ooh. Ooh, that sounds honestly fun.
Yeah.
So,
buy porn.
Pam, if somebody was new and was looking for your work, where would they find you? Where would they find your movies and stuff?
Definitely on Naked Sword. If you click the top tab, it says Naked Sword Originals. Because Naked Sword is like Netflix, so we stream movies from a lot of different studios. So Naked Sword Originals is all my movies. So you can go there. Twitter, which I try to go on. I'm not on there as much. I'll just go on every few days and retweet everything. And I'll see all these awesome pictures like me with my boobs in a pool. And Instagram, you can follow me at Mr. Pam, at MRPAM. Same with Twitter. And Facebook, I'm Mr. Pam Gay Porn Mama. So MRPAM, and then Gay Porn Mama. And you can also follow my dog if you want it. It's Folsom Forte _ the pooper, which it makes me laugh because it's kind of like a big insight to my life too. Where is it? So you can see all these things with the little chihuahua, but it's kind of funny just watching life through him. Yeah, exactly.
If they could only talk,
I know. Yeah, or I'm in Vegas, so if you're around, I'll see you at Piranha or Luxor pool parties on Sundays if I'm in town. That's my favorite thing to do. It's a big gay pool party.
That sounds like fun.
Kind of hang out there. Yeah, it's awesome. It's chill and all body types and whatever, so don't not go because you don't like wearing a bathing suit. I'm a big girl and I'm there and it's awesome. So come on down.
I'll keep that in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honey, thank you very much for sitting down with us. This has been fun, engaging, laughing, just fun and great. And I so appreciate you doing this with me. It's been on my hot bucket list, and I actually get to take it out of the hot bucket list and go, yes!
Well, thank you for doing these and such great questions and just being so supportive of gay porn. It's fucking awesome.
I just think it's fun to let everybody see the other side of the others behind the scenes. The amazing, wonderful people, and I stress people that are behind, these amazing movies and stuff, but these are people, and they have lives and dreams and wishes and hopes, and I like the idea of letting people see that glow in the people and the wonderfulness that radiates out from inside. So, yeah. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. That was really awesome. I don't even have any dick to pull up here.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll work on that. We'll do on the next one. We'll have to do this again, and yeah, we'll add the dick next time. We'll do something totally different next time. We'll have a different theme. We'll work on that. Work on that. Hopefully, it involves something to do with your autobiography too, which would be totally cool. So,
yes.
Right?
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching, everybody. That was awesome. And go jerk off. Have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for joining another episode of Behind the Scenes. Remember, smile and laugh every day. Hug someone that you love, be it 2 or 4-legged, and remember, you are special. Thank you for joining the show.